Gotta love that music. We saw the SpaceX rocket blast off this morning, but this is pretty impressive too. About 300 model rockets were launched in Huntsville, Alabama, the home of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. It's in preparation for an even bigger launch of about 5,000 rockets this July to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing.
Speaking of, the first manned trip to the moon was, of course, a milestone in human history. Now a brand new documentary is taking people aboard the Apollo 11 mission as never before. Take a look.
I'd like to know what you feel as far as the responsibilities of representing mankind on this trip.
That's relatively difficult to answer. It's a job that we collectively said that was possible and we could do, and of course the nation itself is backing us, so we just sincerely hope that we measure up to that.
The film Apollo 11 features high-quality, never-before-seen footage drawn from NASA's archives. And the reviews are as stellar as the original undertaking was ambitious. Critics are calling it astonishing, magnificent, and entirely awe-inspiring. Apollo 11 premiered in IMAX theaters yesterday, opens nationwide next Friday. Here to tell us about it, the director and editor, Todd Douglas Miller. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. We all sort of had the same reaction. These images are so stunning. Why was this footage just buried? How did you find it? And why did it take so long to get here?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, it wasn't necessarily buried. They knew about it. They knew it was here. It was actually housed at the National Archives facility in College Park. If you could put yourself in that place in the late 60s, there were so many Apollo missions that were being made over a short amount of time that they were just constantly shooting film. Not only this large format stuff, but 16, 35, every flavor of film.
Right.
It was constantly being processed and sent away and duplicated, for safekeeping. And it's really a testament to the process that they were able to archive it, preserve it, so someone like myself could come along, and discover it.
This was such a ride. I mean, it just takes you on such a ride. I found it so fascinating, some of the intimate details like the heart racing or not racing, so steady as a rock heartbeat of the astronauts. I didn't know that the limb was called the Columbia. I mean, it was just so fascinating. How did you select?
Well, not to correct you, but it was called the Eagle, was the limb, and the command module was Columbia.
Thank you.
Sorry, all the nerds out there. Would on me if I didn't.
We know, we appreciate it. So, first of all, this footage, I mean, we saw some of the shots there. This is shot like a movie. I mean, it's 70 millimeter footage, so this is very high quality stuff. It looks like it was shot yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we owe a debt of gratitude to the filmmakers and the cinematographers responsible for the imagery. In fact, that was one of our big research projects when we were working with NASA and the National Archives, was to figure out where this stuff came from, who was responsible in shooting it. In the late 50s, early 60s, a lot of this large format filmmaking was in vogue. There was really great filmmakers, Francis Thompson, Theo Kamika, a couple of other really tremendous cinematographers responsible for this footage. And they made, little industrial films for it.
I think Michelle just said this, but how did you decide what to choose? There was so much there.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we did was to actually look at this mission. It spanned 9 days. So to actually sit down and edit, believe it or not, there's a 9-day version of the film.
Wow.
So our archive team, archive producers, working in conjunction with all the great, sound designers and other editors, on the project. It's just really a testament to their skill.
Well, it really feels like you're there.
You really do.
You really do. It's extraordinary, and it must have been exciting to be in the editing room to play with all this footage. Todd Douglas Miller, congratulations on a great film, and thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.